Cool. How's everyone doing? Doing well?
Are you all fed? Are you all happy, full? Do you need more sandwiches?
Yeah.
Cool. There's still plenty of Subway sandwiches left if you want to grab some. So first of all, thanks to everyone that's turned up tonight. I'm really, really happy to see all of you. My name is Mike Shipper. I work for Google and I work in the marketing team. And I work on a product called AdMob, which is super relevant to app developers. Well, I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But I just wanted to start off with a few slides, just giving you an idea about why Google cares about students and why we're here today. And I guess the first thing I wanted to talk about is a motto that we have in Google Marketing, and that's there we go, that's the first one. The motto is, do cool things that matter. And it's a really important value that we have in marketing at Google. And the idea there is that no matter what you work on, no matter what team you're in, you can have a big impact as an individual of what you do. So, some examples of where that's been lived out in Google. For example, Gmail, probably quite a few Gmail users here. That started off as an idea from just one Googler. It began as a 20% project, and several years later, we had nearly 500 million users. And of course, it's still growing, it's really popular. Another example is a product that you may have heard of. It began as a group of engineers believing in an idea for a mobile operating system that they thought could change the world. Any ideas what that product became? So I think you're probably familiar with Android. And recently announced we have 1 billion Android activations. And so the cool thing is that something can start really small and it can go on to have a major impact. And when I think about what app developers do, and I look at things like Android adoption and iPhone adoption, and particularly in the gaming world, how many people are playing games these days, I see a lot of similarities between the culture at Google and the app ecosystem. And essentially, one of the big similarities there is scale. When I think about app developers, and particularly with games, it's really possible to build a game, you spend a few months building it, launch it on the Play Store or on the App Store, and then within a week you can have millions of users. And that's really amazing. It's an amazing thing about the platform that's been built and in fact how many people just engage in playing games on smartphones. And so I really want to encourage all of you today and for tomorrow as well, and for the rest of your lives, to be really empowered by the thought that something that you come up with today potentially could go on to have a really big impact and have lots and lots of users. Okay, so that brings us to the Game Design Jam and why we're here this weekend. I see that you're all here and hopefully you can have some great ideas in the teams you've gathered in. And over the course of tomorrow, you're going to get a chance to meet with other people from YetiZen and people from Google that can help give you some advice and they can share their experiences about mobile gaming. But the one thing which I want you to remember is that even though you can potentially build a great game and you potentially win some prizes from this weekend, the important thing that I want you to remember is that we're also running a second contest, which is run by AdMob, where you can also win some really great prizes. This is how it will work, basically. So you'll come up with your game design over this weekend, and there'll be the judging, etc. tomorrow evening. What I'd really like you to do is, if you feel you've got a really great idea for a game, you're really passionate about it, what we want you to do is to go away, spend some time developing that game and building it, and then submit it to the AdMob Student App Challenge. This is a global challenge, and we've got lots of teams entering and taking part, and you can win some really good prizes. So if your game or your app you're building ends up winning, You can win a vacation for all of your team. You can also get your winning app featured on the Play Store if you build an Android app. And that could be the key to getting millions of views and millions of downloads. So that's a really cool component of the prize. And then also you win computing devices like Nexus 7s as well. So just bear that in mind and think about how you can take the idea that you're working on this weekend and the design that you're coming up with, and how you can think about turning that into a real app. So of course, really delighted to be partnering with YetiZen in this. And without further ado, here's Sana, CEO of YetiZen.